We have had very gray, rainy days, so it has been hard to keep our power going, and we're trying to be really frugal. We could run the generator, but we try not to do that as much as possible. So we're trying to conserve, and sorry, I'll explain in a second. I've also not been feeling well. Thank you guys greatly for your prayers. I have felt them. God's grace is sufficient. I'm just muddling through, but I haven't had one of these flare-ups in a long time, and I'm probably looking a little worse for the wear, but it is what it is. While I was healing, I'd have all kinds of weird and odd issues pop up as my body processed silicone and toxins and everything else. So as our pace slowed, and I really do believe that our pace was something that was really helping me to heal. So I got to get back out there and start delving into it again. We are starting to make an effort to get out and hike every day, and try to find a time with everything else that we've got to get in place. But I went from having major head pain and all kinds of weird toxicity issues to now having pink eye and head pain and eye pain. So this is not unusual. It's just, this is something I haven't experienced for quite some time. I've been very blessed not to have to walk this out for a while. So my body's just overloaded, and I've got to detox it. So I am doing that. But between power issues and me not feeling well, we just didn't get on. So right now I am cleaning potatoes on my stove. We have guests coming today. I have an elk roast, an elk neck roast on the wood stove. I have a sourdough, brown rice, and sorghum flour loaf in my Dutch oven in the oven. And then I'm going to bake a chocolate cake. And when our guests head out today, we are going to get back to butchering. And I'm going to jump on then. We'll be butchering the elk. I will share that with you. The mountain man ran to get some water. And he's been doing a lot of he does a good bit of the cutting. I helped with that on the other homestead, but right now our space is so limited. There's not enough room for the both of us at the table where he's cutting. So he's been doing all the cutting, and then we will wrap together and process the burger. Excuse me a second, I need a knife. So things are moving forward, and next week then, once we are done with all of our butchering, we are going to head into finishing the inside here of the house and the kitchen, getting the counter in and the sink in, my pantry in. So that will be huge, huge, huge. And we're just slowly progressing and hoping that the mountain boy will be able to be home for Christmas, and just taking one day at a time, getting things in place and dealing with my health issues. Good morning, Miss Toyka. How are you today? So I'm doing the shuffle here with cooking and baking and trying to pull it all together here. And then I'm going to head out and probably go for a short stroll. Toyka says, I was wondering if your huge push and being stressed with all the upstairs water wasn't the odor that was an issue. And then I know, right? So, well, I've been running the ozone machine, but this is, yeah, probably, because when my body gets stressed, weird things do happen. And what's crazy is there's different levels of stress in our lives. And the stress of building was actually probably the best thing for me. It was working muscles. It was working toxins out of muscles. It was really, and just being in the fresh air, honestly. I'll tell you what, when I go outside, I just feel so good. That fresh air and the beauty. Good morning, Miss Tammy. So that really helps. And I think that when we were building, that was a huge part of it. I was surrounded by everything that was good for me. And then not that in here is bad for me, but I moved into a lot of new odors, a lot of new, just I got to work through adjusting to the house, I think, more than anything. And I've been running the ozone machine when I can, when we do have the generator running or when we get a blip of sun, which hasn't been much, but there has been a couple times. And I noticed that did help quite a bit. Now it's just a matter of getting all the garbage out of my system. So like I said to the mountain man today, we need to start when we start working on this project next week, getting everything in place. That'll be so good for me. Just working my body and being outside. I've been doing a lot on our academy these last couple days while he's been cutting the meat. So that sedentary, that just drives me crazy. But it's my job and I'm grateful for it. And excuse me, what we're getting in place is going to be awesome for everybody. So I'm real excited about it. But it's just hard also when it's in my head, I feel like so dysfunctional because I use my head for everything I do. But I wanted to get on here and just give you guys an update, let you know we're alive, let you know I didn't forget about you, and also request prayers. It would be much appreciated as I walk through and get my system back in check. But I'm glad you're doing well today, Toika. How are you doing, Tammy? And this sourdough loaf that I'm working on, I will be sharing the recipe. I'm actually doing a little bit of experimenting because I only have so much of the brown rice and the sorghum flour blend, but I have a lot of other gluten-free flours. So I'm actually messing around with the recipe before I share it so that I can give alternatives in the event that you don't have the brown rice and sorghum, but that you could still produce this amazing loaf of bread. I made this loaf of bread last week. I don't remember what day it was. Everything blends. But I made it, and like the next day there was enough for breakfast. And then I made 2 loaves of the Trayer Wilderness bread that you can find in the Trayer Wilderness cookbook. My books can be found at trayerwilderness.com/TammyTrayer. And I made 2 loaves yesterday, and there's only like 3/4 of one left, and I only had a piece of it. He loves bread, and we love bread. The bread I made for him yesterday is whole wheat bread, and I try to stay away from that. I try to do gluten-free, especially when my system's flaring, because it just adds inflammation to my body. But it is good stuff. It's really good stuff, especially when you pull it out of the oven warm. That's just like totally hard to pass up. But so we're busy. My house looks like a bomb went off. This is how we butcher. I'll spin this around. This is how we butcher. With dogs. That's exactly what it looks like. We put our cutting boards on here. I'll spin this around slowly and show you those because these are some hefty cutting boards and they are great for butchering meats. So these are what we use to do our butchering of our meat. I'm going to spin this slowly again and see if I can find his knives. Hello, Carol. Bear with me a second here. I'm going to flip this back around and put this up. Whoop. Maybe I'll flip it around. There we go. Let me grab his knives under the dish pile. I did dishes again today. It's like, you guys know, it's constant, but it's tricky here. But anyway, these are the Mountain Man's butcher knives. This one he made with a wooden handle. And this one right here, he and Austin made, and they made a plastic handle. They used plastic jugs to make that handle. So there's always lots of educational things going on here on the homestead and experimentation. You know, we are utilizing what we have and seeing how it works. But he makes amazing knives. I have several that I carry, but this is our butcher knives, and these are and stay very sharp all the time. And yes, I saw Toika say about the butcher blocks, the cutting boards. They are very thick, heavy, but super awesome for butchering. The nice thing is too, they can be cleaned up really well, so it makes it really nice. Let me see here. Okay, you guys are all saying hello. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. if you could keep Austin in your prayers too, something really unusual and out of totally unexpected occurred. The dean from Moody Aviation actually took Austin to the community college up there. They were going to do he was going to do a creative writing class, and do a pre-algebra, college algebra course at the community college. And getting there, they also have an aviation program, and they also have, are you all right, old boy? Lay down. They also have an automotive program there, both of which have been extreme passions for Austin. And he missed signing up by only a couple days for the algebra and the writing, but other things have possibly opened up there. And one of the things that's nice is if he were to take the aviation program at the community college, which is also a good program, he would be able to transfer those credits back to Moody and shift back to Moody. So there's lots of decisions and lots of kind of upside down right now. We're not sure. So Austin's been really praying about it and soul searching, and we've been praying for him and recruited our prayer warriors. So I'd like to recruit you guys too to help us pray for God's will to be very clear, and for God's will to be done in this situation. So pretty excited. There's pros and cons. He is in some really awesome housing there that's part of Moody. If he went to the community college, he would no longer be able to do that, so his rent would probably double or triple. But we haven't looked into all of that yet. But if it's God's will, and we know this, if it's God's will, doors will open and he will be able to smoothly transition, and everything will work, everything will be available to him. So we're just praying. And he and I have a meeting with the dean today at 1 o'clock. So just anxious to see what transpires here. God's in control. God has opened all these doors, so really excited for him, though. And he's got such amazing friends up there, so I feel really blessed, too, as a mom, to know that he's got such good, wholesome friends looking out for him, as well as the dean. He is really our current angel, and may God bless the man. He's just been so amazing, he and his wife. So really feel blessed with them in our lives and their friendship. Thank you, Tammy. Tammy says that she will be praying for his meeting. Carol says, how cool that. Go, Austin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited. So I want to show you, how many minutes do I have left? Oh, I have like 1 minute left on the bread. I want to show you guys the bread, and I'm going to put some wood in my fire here to keep that going. I'll tell you what, guys, there is nothing better than wood stove cooking as far as what it produces. I am just so excited. I always, you go from electric to gas or to propane, and it's like night and day. Electric stoves are just the worst as far as cooking, because you never have even heat, and it's expensive. And I'll tell you what, when you switch from gas to a wood cook stove, again, it's like night and day. It's just amazing what you can accomplish on a wood cook stove. And I don't know. Like I've always said to you guys, I feel like I was born 100 years too late. So does the mountain man. So when I'm in here doing all this stuff, I feel like such a pioneer. So it's really awesome. Really, really awesome. So let me get prepared to pull my bread out of the oven. Timing is good. I also have my sourdough mixture going. We are doing a lot of sourdough, and in here, with it being so warm and in such a small space, it works out great and continues to grow very quickly. I also have my French press going with herbal coffee. It's not coffee, it's just a coffee replacement, but it's a lot of adaptogens. Chaga is in it, a bunch of the other mushrooms, reishi. Trying to think what else is in it. It's really burdock, dandelion, a lot of really good, amazing things for you. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out of the oven. Well, first, I just got to show you this. This just tickles me to death. I love my little oven. Sorry. This is just It's just too cute. I just love it. I'm really excited at the amount of space in this thing and how it cooks things and bakes things, I should say. And then my cake will be going in there shortly thereafter. But let me pull this out of here. Oh yeah, look at that. That right there is artesian bread. That's what they would call it today. It is a wonderful sourdough loaf. Thank you, Patrick, if you're watching. George, if you're watching, you can tell Patrick how much we love his bread. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's not going to last today. I can guarantee it. That is just not going to last today. So Dutch oven baking is really nice because what you do is you stick the Dutch oven in the oven with the lid on prior to putting whatever it is you're baking. And then you heat it up because that holds the heat. And then you add your bread in there. By using the parchment paper, it does not stick fast. And it bakes very nicely on the bottom as well as all the way through. It has this nice crunchy outer, and the inside is just amazing. And because you're doing the sourdough, I also have psyllium husk in this and a little bit of almond flour. And then the sorghum flour gives it that rich flavor too, but it's really an amazing loaf of bread. So I will share it with you. And I'm sorry I look so ragged today. I feel ragged today. And my camera is crooked. All right, let me see here. Thank you guys for praying so much. I really, really appreciate it. Toyka and Tammy and Carol and anyone else that's watching and watching the replay, thank you for your prayers. We really feel them and we really appreciate them greatly. It's a powerful gift. Toyka says, I always used to feel that way too. 100 years, hard work, but good work. And it's living proof. Here I am. I was out there busting my butt for how long and felt incredible. And now when I slow down and I'm not, I don't feel well. So there's so much to be said about good hard work. It detoxes the body. It keeps you healthy. Everything you owned had at least one or more purposes. Exactly. And you know what? In saying that, they needed little. You know, like because everything was purposeful, they didn't have tons of stuff. And that's what I'm finding right now is what I'm using is basic. And I love it. And I can't wait once we get the pantry in to go through my little jelly cupboard here and 86. And I won't throw it away, but I will get it out of here or donate it, gift it, use it in the guest cabins, whatever. But what I'm not using, I'm getting out of here because we are in such limited space. But the things that we do use are very powerful things and give us great use. Doesn't that look so yummy? I know, right? I'm like so excited. So I will be sharing that recipe with you. I'm just working it a little bit so that those of you that don't have all the specialty flours can still make such a loaf and enjoy the rewards. So I like playing with the recipes. But I'm going to jump off of here because I got to get some more potatoes and I got to dig those out in the corner over there and get this cake going. And then, like I said, I will jump back on later today at some point and just share some of the butchering with you so it helps you guys if you're not familiar. And that way you can learn as we go. So let me see here. What did Toyka say? I'm gluten-free also. Yeah, and you can do amazing things. I've experimented. I took a whole summer when Christopher was here the previous time, back in 2012, 2013 timeframe, and I was baking everything my family loved gluten-free to see if they could tell the difference. And the only thing they could tell was the breads. However, it got to a point where when I was baking the breads like this one right here, you wouldn't know that is gluten-free at all. And baking with sourdough gives your stuff such an airy, it's wonderful. Because the thing with gluten, the gluten-free is that your breads are so dense, they're heavy. So when you use the sourdough, I let that sit all night long before I baked it. I let it set 2 hours, then I added the sourdough and vinegar to it, and then I baked it this morning. So it sat all night, and it is going to be so airy and full of bubbles and nice and very different from your regular loaves of gluten-free bread. So you can bake loaves of bread that are gluten-free that you can't tell the difference. So that is what I'm trying to perfect. I also have a Dave's Crazy Bread recipe that I want to do with the sourdough to see how that differs. So I love playing around. So when I come up with these recipes, I will share them with you guys. But I am going to jump off of here. I love you all. God bless you too, Tammy. So thankful. And guys, for those of you watching the replay and those of you that haven't joined, our Bible studies have been really, really powerful. We have a lot of new people joining, and I am like so excited. So spread the word and join us. You can find out more details at TrayerWilderness.com/Bible Study Book Club, and I will be announcing our new book next week. We still have another 3 weeks, I believe it is, in the current book, which we're doing is Fervent by Priscilla Shire, and I'll be announcing the next book. But it is such a powerful time. People are really sharing. It's a lot of connections being made, and it's just it's really comfortable. It's really awesome. Powerful. God is present. So anyway, that is at TrayerWilderness.com/Bible Study Book Club. And I'll be sharing more. My free bread baking course is coming out on our academy, and I will have that out there probably the beginning of this week, if not sooner. So anyway, you guys have a fabulous day. Thank you for your prayers. If any of you need prayers, please leave them in the comments below. We would love to lift you guys in prayer. Continue to pray for Mona and Ken. Continue to pray for Toika and Tammy and her family. Pray for Carol's community, and pray for Terry and his wife June. Pray for Chad, and pray for Austin and our friend George and our friend Pat Kenny. And Diana and Craig. I'm trying to think if there's others. I know there's always others, but if you need prayer, please don't hesitate to leave them down below. Even if it's just, if you say unspoken prayers, that's enough for us to know that you need prayer. We don't need to know the details. God knows. And just love you all. Thank you all for being a part of our family and our community. And our friends, you know, we really treasure you all. So I will jump on here a little later today and share some butchering with you, but you guys have a fabulous rest of your day. I love you all. God bless.